Hey, welcome to Breaking the News Plus on this Friday night. We got a fun one for you. We have the Chief Marketing Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx on the show, Mike Grahl. And Mike, you're undefeated, 1-0 right now, so definitely Titletown is coming. You're planning the parade, I'm guessing, in the marketing office for the Wolves right now, yeah?
Yeah, let's keep that momentum, Jana. I like that optimistic spirit. We are definitely excited for the season ahead. Undefeated for sure for the moment, a lot in front of us, and we're excited for it.
You know, I have to ask you, the Chief Marketing Officer, everybody at home kind of probably knows what that is, but you're in charge of, building the hype train, getting people excited. How difficult is it to get people excited about, somebody named Anthony Edwards?
He is a self-marketing machine. He makes our jobs in the marketing department significantly easier. He's an incredible athlete. Obviously, we know his prowess on the court, right? Like, he is sensational, at one of the best of what he does, for sure. But what he also brings to it is charisma and character and a spirit that is unlike any other. Just really authentic, really natural, really fun. He plays with an exuberance that is very much his own. He is very unique from that perspective. He's got motivational factors in many, many ways. Obviously, his level of play, he levels up everybody else around him. He's the first person to compliment his teammates and to lift them up and pick them up. So a true teammate as well. So from a marketing perspective, love an athlete like that for sure.
What I love about the team that you all have put together last season and now going into this season is you can kind of pick a player that you vibe with. I see Anthony Edwards jerseys on kids as small as 6 months old and onesies to people in their 60s. But then there's this whole subculture of the Naz Reid fan that you couldn't even dream up that marketing. It was this interesting Minnesota organic thing of a state falling in love with a sixth man.
Yeah, and Naz, I don't know. There's something Minnesota about him. He's not Minnesotan by nature, right? He's not from here originally, but there's something about his spirit, right? An individual who has earned everything he's gotten. Undrafted, came up through our G League, the development system in the NBA down in Iowa, the Iowa Wolves. He's got a quiet persona, right? His game speaks volumes, but he himself is a relatively quiet, unassuming individual who's considerate, kind, hardworking. And I think Minnesotans can connect with that in a big way, and they have in an incredible fashion, Jan. And you saw it. We gave away a beach towel for a City Edition uniform a couple years ago, and it's a little bit different in the theme of lake life. We like to celebrate, court culture and community in the City Editions, and that towel was something different.
Yeah.
We hoped it would do something fun, and Naz participated in a great way, and obviously fans take it to the nth degree here because they just absolutely love him and are dear to him. It goes beyond that too, right, Jana? You go to our entire roster. I think you're right. You can vibe with a lot of different guys, whether it's a Mike Conley who's the consummate teammate, right? Isn't a technical foul in his career. You can go to a young Terrence Shannon Jr. who's doing some explosive things and is up and coming. Jaden McDaniels is also quiet and unassuming, but a hard worker and really fun to watch. And Joe Ingles is just a comedian. So it runs the gamut.
I think it was Jaden who we put on Breaking the News a few weeks ago on Media Day because he had a really good marketing pitch. I don't know if you saw it, but it was his idea to make the league fear coming here because it was so darn cold. He's like, make them they're just going to be scared. They're going to freeze their tushes off, and then their play will just fall apart. I was like, it's not bad. It's not bad. I like it.
Nope. Smart man. We'll take that for sure. Lean into that.
I think at the end of last season, obviously disappointment not getting out of the conference finals, but it was certainly a team that had the whole state behind them, especially in that postseason run last year. So the lead up to this year was kind of right there, much as it was for the Minnesota Lynx. People were excited to see this team take the floor again, to see what changes have been made. But from the marketing side of things, you all just didn't deliver this fan base like, here's the same old, you're welcome. You have new jerseys that really speak to Minnesota, some tricks up your sleeve that will play to a Minnesota audience.
Yes, for sure. We definitely don't rest. It's definitely something to build on, right? We look for foundations, and you mentioned it with our Lynx very similarly, right? What they did on the court was sensational. We often talk about the characters and the personalities that make up championship culture, and that Lynx team embodied that in a big way. And we celebrate and have fun, and we build on those things. And we're doing that similarly on our Timberwolves side as well. Something we have this year in continuity from a roster perspective is really special, right? We work really hard to build up the affinity for these athletes who are the best at what they do. And Coach Finch has done a remarkable job motivating the group, and Tim Connolly in terms of keeping this group together as a unit. So we want to use that as a foundation, and we want to build upon that. So, from a marketing perspective, we do want to introduce some things that are going to energize our fan base, even beyond that, what they're already anticipating, from an on-court performance perspective for athletes. We want to be able to level that up. We do lead into the jerseys. The jerseys, the uniform is something that's near and dear to many fans' hearts, right? That is something truly special. The classic edition uniform that we introduced this September, dating back to the 90s era with the black base uniform and the tree trim, is something that every time we drop a uniform, they ask for it in some way, shape, or form. No matter how much they love the uniform that we drop, they want that classic black trees, as we call it. And that's what we're wearing on our home opener. That's how excited we are about it. We haven't worn an alternate uniform on our home opener. It is a classic edition, so it's only a 1-year uniform. So we're going to wear it as much as we possibly can and have some fun with it. And then we also just recently introduced, we brought back another one. We're celebrating the past a little bit this season, because our Prince-inspired uniforms from 2018-19 was our second City Edition uniform that we ever introduced. And we are bringing that back in a remix capacity. The NBA and Nike are running back their City Edition uniforms, but it's running it back either exactly as it was or changing color, but not changing anything inside of the actual design elements of the uniform. So that Prince Edition uniform, we're bringing it back exactly as it was, because it was a phenomenal uniform to see our athletes in and to celebrate Prince, the greatest rocker who ever lived, who called Minnesota home always, and was a diehard Minnesotan for sure, but a sports fan, a huge fan of our Wolves and Lynx both. So we're going to have a lot of fun leaning in and celebrating Prince in a fun way this year through 7 special nights at Target Center.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you could get that Prince fan base obviously is here, but it's global. And Prince's influence and Prince's love of basketball well documented, and then Prince's influence in meaningful ways to these organizations has been something to watch. I can recall some of the Lynx teams being invited to Paisley Park before the great one had passed, to get to be there, because and Prince wanted to be, with them, and like, here's my house. Like, you invite the basketball team over to your house, that's so cool. So a great homage to the legendary Prince, who's, First Ave, the house that he almost built by himself across the street. I wanted to ask you about those trees, the trees logo jersey. You mentioned the 90s, and I don't know, you might be around my age, Mike, but the 90s have made like this resurgence with both, probably players age folks and in the teens and 20s and 30s. I know I'm sounding old as I say that, but this leans into that. Like, those trees just to me yell starter jacket in 1995.
Yeah, and if you go on our team store, you'll see a starter jacket, quite frankly, Jana, too. So, for sure. We'll have to maybe find one for you, because no doubt. I think there is this thing that is, it's vintage to some degree, right? But there is something that retro just brings. It's a style, it's a flair. As we celebrate this uniform this year, it is really about that. It's about style and culture. It's not. Yeah. It is a uniform for sure, but it goes way beyond that. I think it's a little bit to what you speak to, right? Like, there's all generations, even young generations who didn't live that era of Timberwolves basketball. There's something iconic about that, even in the style of it, that is just it catches people's eye. It's captivating. Design aesthetically, and maybe not the most beautiful uniform, but that's not the beauty of it. It's way beyond that. It is something that's very, very cultural. It transcends in a really, really huge way. It's unique. It's different. I think the tree itself, right, that tree that speaks to our state, right, and the beauty of our nature, I think there's a piece of that exists. But it's really cool. And fans, they're really excited about that uniform. I think what people will really love, Jana, what's different this year, both with our Classic Trees uniform as well as our Prince-inspired City Edition, both of them have courts this year. So our court for our Classic Edition, which will debut at our home opener on Sunday night against Indiana, will have that 90s era parquet hardwood that we played on back in the day. It is an exact replica of it, and I think what fans are really going to like, we did the City Edition, Prince inspired in 2018-19. We didn't have a court for it back then, so playing in your Prince purple uniform on your Navy court still looked great, because the uniform beautiful, and obviously everything inside of our arena was Prince purple and accentuated from music to color to everything. But to have a court with the love symbol at center court, that's pretty special.
Man, let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. Wow. But all of that great stuff. And that's what gets people excited. Obviously, they're excited about the team. They want to see what it can do this year. But having that total experience as a huge basketball fan, I have it with going to the Lynx games, and I got to catch a Timberwolves game for the first time last year. Basketball is something special, from the fans to the jerseys to the court. It's a whole experience of style and game and swag that I think is truly different from other sports. So I think the marketing department has a cool job in front of it to kind of bring that in.
We do, and our game is different too, right? And you experience it, Jana, as you're at Lynx games and you come to Wolves games. Like you're the closest to the action that you'll be with any other sport, right?
Yeah.
You're not, and the playing surface is only 90 feet, so it's not a big surface, and you're as close as you can. And the players don't have helmets or masks on, so there's an intimacy that exists inside of it. And we on the WNBA and NBA side also treat it a little bit like a stage to some degree, because it's entertainment. It's sports at its core, right? It is absolutely about the greatest athletes in the world doing what they do best, and that is entertainment in and of itself. But what we can bring around the surround of it, and in the moments that are not game related, we dress them up. We color them bright and loud and in a fun way that whether you are a sports fan or you're a basketball fan or you're not, there is something that is exciting and entertaining for you. And that's what we like to lean into, because it is community, right? It goes beyond just the game of basketball. It brings people together. It gives them something to cheer for and rally around, which I think just lifts people up. We're in the business of memory making, and we love to do that. And we're really great to be able to do that in the great state of Minnesota with our great teams.
No greater place to watch a game of basketball than the Target Center, in my humble opinion, because of the teams they put on the floor. Mike Grawl with the Timberwolves. Have a great Timberwolves season, a Sunday home opener. Bring back that W. Congrats on the undefeated record thus far. See you at the parade, if not sooner.
Sounds good, Jana. Thank you for the time today.
You betcha. That's it for Breaking the Plus on this Friday night. Take care.